So pretty ancient mound there in Miamisburg. I've been to that one. It's huge.
I don't think I've been there.
You can climb up it. There's steps, and you can actually climb up to the top, and you can see over the whole valley of the Little or Big Miami River. And it's beautiful. And that's the largest conical mound in Ohio. It used to be almost 7 feet tall. This is from the Middletown Signal, January 17th, 1899, with the headline, Bones of Prehistoric Giant Found Near Miamisburg. The skeleton of a giant found near Miamisburg is the cause of much discussion, not only among the curious and illiterate, but among the learned scientists of the world. The body of a man more gigantic than ever recorded in human history has been found in the Miami Valley, Ohio.
Shout out Ohio.
The skeleton, it is calculated, must have belonged to a man 8 foot 1.5 inches in height. Professor Thomas Wilson, who's the curator of prehistoric anthropology at the Smithsonian Institute, said the following after examining the find.
The authenticity of the skull is beyond any doubt. Its antiquity unquestionably great. To my own personal knowledge, several such crania were discovered in the Hopewell group of mounds in Ohio. The jaws were prognathous, which means projecting beyond the face, and the facial index remarkably low. That's the Smithsonian's boy. He's the curator of prehistoric anthropology. So this is his wheelhouse. He knows what he's talking about. That's why he writes, the authenticity is beyond any doubt.
Remember 2 weeks ago when I was freaking out about not being able to find this account?
This is the one?
Yeah, this is the one I was from Miamisburg.
That's hilarious.
Because I'd read that years ago that there was a Smithsonian field journal, and this guy from the Smithsonian was there and had written about the Miamisburg Mound, this account.
Right.
And then we found it in Jim Vieira's book, and page 103. This is from the Miamisburg Public Library, the Historical Collections of Ohio.
Yeah, in 1848.
Mm-hmm.
The day they opened the Miamisburg Mound. Dayton Daily News, February 23rd, 1932. 8 feet below the surface came upon a human skeleton entombed in a sitting posture facing due east. So this is your guy facing in a certain direction.
Mm-hmm.
Is that random? Is that deliberate? It seems like you would, if it is in fact specifically due east, maybe you have a shot of doing that by accident. But for the most part, it seems like that was probably pretty purposeful. But inside the mound, there was also wood, stone, charcoal, and ashes. And a carefully preserved human, which was of unusual size. A term I would use, I guess you could use that in the sense if they thought they were unusually small or big, but in this instance, we're talking unusually big.
Yeah.
The next one I want you to go over because I think this one's awesome.
Yeah, this is a gigantic man buried next to a ferocious panther.
Love that.
The Cincinnati Commercial Gazette, September 26, 1889. Relics were collected to be placed on loan at the Smithsonian.
There they are again.
11.
There they are again.
11.
Just wait. You're going to be up to your knees and then to your chest and neck in Smithsonian. That's why this is so interesting, because they are such a... You say Smithsonian Institute, people know what you're talking about.
Museums, and they've been,
Well, and even in an esoteric way, they have knowledge. They have this collected history.
Yeah.
And people are familiar with the Smithsonian name.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, go ahead. So the Smithsonian pops up again here.
So this Cincinnati Commercial Gazette, 11 mounds were opened up in, I guess, over this period of time.
Okay.
And the mounds were composed of clay again, sand again, burnt charcoal.
So a lot of repeating motifs from mound to mound, or building style.
Yeah. Some of the layers seemed painted.
That part interests me.
Yeah.
That's another step of really dedicated, preserved burial rituals.
Yeah.
You're going to paint that.
Yeah.
Wonder what they were using to make paint. and that they could
Plants.
tell it was preserved that much later on. But yeah, also inside there, skeleton of a large individual, and this part, bones of a panther next to the giant. And they actually were like, was this a pet panther? Or did he kill the panther
Yeah.
and bury it with him like some
could've
kind
been-
of trophy?
It could have been maybe like his house cat. You know,
If he's that large.
big giant, he's going to have a panther as a pet. I'm leaning towards that because that's way more fun. That's way more fun.
Panther is a pet.
Yeah.
Pet panther.
I'm going with pet panther.
I like pet panther.
I don't think he killed the giant. I
No.
think the giant would have taken care of him.
Well, they were saying, did the giant kill the panther?
Right. No, I think they were buddies. It was
But
a pet.
so who died first, the panther or the giant?
Maybe they were in battle or something. Who knows? But that's from the Cincinnati
This
Commercial
makes me
Gazette.
think of He-Man riding around on
Battle
his
Cat. So the Cardiff Giant we talked a little bit about.
Yeah.
Basically the most well-known hoax, proven to be hoax.
And Jim Vieira researched that to
Yeah.
basically put it on its head and say it probably wasn't real. And that's what we were talking about earlier. There's
Yeah.
fakes, there's forgeries. But you're going to have that. You're going to have there's fakes and forgeries and everything. Look at Milli Vanilli.
Yeah. Pop music from the
You
90s.
know what I mean? Like, it's just forgeries. There's a lot of lip syncing going on in all kinds of facets.
And archaeology for sure.
People want to make a name for themselves.
Yeah, you want to get on those headlines. There's no social media. There's just newspapers.
Right. Right.
So they're trying to get that New York Times article.
Right.
So, guys like P.T. Barnum, they're just making bank
Right.
off fake giants.
Oh.
So the history of Coshocton County, Ohio, its past, present, and future. A. Graham, a company, Newark, Ohio, in 1840, near Plainfield, J.D. Workman opened a small mound. Another mound about 2 miles below was excavated some 10 years later by Wesley Patrick. They found jawbone, skull, and thigh of unusually large size, indicated the skeleton would be fully 7 foot in length.
Yep.
So these are like town hall accounts or town history accounts. So, you have your local historian in
Yeah, like I
Coshocton
said,
County.
Like the minutes from a meeting at a council meeting.
So this isn't a newspaper article,
Right.
but it's this town hall or, city historical account.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of different varieties of some of these documentations that you see. And the argument is that, they're written to sell papers and books and they're highlighted. That's kind of the academic stance on
Trying to generate a headline. To
why do you see these articles and things that are written
right.
in the newspapers is, they're being sensationalized to, sell newspapers.
The National Enquirer.
But, so the North Benton Mound, this is interesting. Really, this is up in Mahoning County, northeastern Ohio, 7 feet in diameter.
75 feet.
75 feet in diameter, 7.5 feet high. And this is in 1839. This guy, Willis McGrath and Roy Saltzman. In the eastern part of the mound, there's this eagle effigy. And so inside this one mound, there's all these different intricate, there's an altar in there.
Yeah.
There's different shapes,
Yeah.
like these mosaic shapes, and then different skeletons that are buried throughout the mound. And then there's a thunderbird that's in a mosaic.
That's big.
And on the north wing, there is, they talk about a giant being recovered from basically the north wing of this thunderbird motif or effigy.
Right.
And then I think there was on the south side, they found another skeleton there as well. So all over the place. A lot of different types of accounts, different types of earthworks that they're being found in.
Right.
And then we get to the Smithsonian.
Yeah. And we get to
So go ahead.
We get to Ross Hamilton. And like you said earlier, Ross Hamilton is the OG of the Giants. It's been on this track for quite some time, it seems like, and very well written on the matter as well, especially with a lot of other researchers, again, kind of referencing back to quite a bit of Ross's material. But from a tradition of giants, we have this part from Ross, and that goes, a large Indian mound has recently been opened and examined by a committee of scientists sent out from the Smithsonian Institute. At some depth from the surface, a kind of vault was found in which was discovered the skeleton of a giant measuring 7 feet 2 inches. His hair was coarse and jet black and hung to the waist, the brow being ornamented with a copper crown. The skeleton was remarkably well preserved and taken from the vault intact. On the stones which covered the vault were carved inscriptions, and these, when deciphered, will doubtless lift the veil that now shrouds the history of the race of people that one time inhabited this part of the American continent. The relics have been carefully packed and forwarded to the Smithsonian Institute, and they are said to be the most interesting collection ever found in the United States. That's a big statement.